everyone, and welcome back to Transformation Journeys. Today, I want to share a little bit about loneliness and how, being divorced and how it affected me, and actually some of the strategies and the things that I use to actually get past loneliness. No, it wasn't the only emotion that I felt when I was going through the process. There was a time when I was just sad. I was sad, I was sad. So I tried to go back over, and I tried to come up with all of the emotions that I was faced with and all of the things that I, that I felt. And I know there was a time when I felt sad. I just felt sad, and there was this deep, that you feel like you lose something. Would have thought that divorce would feel so much like death. Like you lose somebody, you're not going to see them again. But that is how it felt to me. There was a time when I felt angry. I was angry at myself. I was even angry at my ex-husband. And there was, I tell you about the guilt. And I tell you about the shame, of having a failed marriage. I was embarrassed. I mean, the whole thing of me being all up about marriage and speaking so highly about marriage, and yet still my marriage failed. There was a time when I was fearful. I mean, I was so uncertain about what the future would hold now, because remember, all my life I planned my life with this man, and it was all about me and him. So now there was this uncertainty. I was even afraid because I don't like to be alone. So there was this fear of being alone. Then I had, there was a time when I felt rejected, like nobody wants me, feeling unwanted and unloved. You understand? Just because the marriage failed, no, I felt like nobody out there loved me. There was a time. But then there was this feeling of loneliness. That means, I was isolated, feeling of isolation and disconnected from others just because of the whole divorce. No, remember, I told you that straight out of high school, I went from my mother's home into a man's home. I did not know what it meant. It felt like to live a single life. I wasn't a single woman. I don't believe single was ever attached to me. I was a married woman. All of my adult life, married woman, Mrs. You understand? So imagine, after 23 years of pouring everything into a marriage, no, I am left alone and I'm lonely. I have a daughter, yes, but I mean, the comfort that you would get from having someone else there to talk to be with, to lie down and to throw your hand over, your foot over, and all of them things, that you don't have it anymore. So now I am doing life alone. I don't have anybody to go out with. I don't have anybody to call on, to tell, because I love to talk, So I don't have anybody to, when I come home, I can tell the whole of my life, everything will happen from I leave home till I come home, all of those things. So now I was doing life alone. I don't like to be alone. I love excitement. I love crowd. I love to just be having fun at all times. That is me. So how did I deal with all of that? How do I deal with the fact that, hear what, I have to start doing life alone? So I want to share with you some stuff that I wrote down, because as I share my story, it's about sharing the strategies that I use and how these strategies can help you to overcome what you might be going through. And it's not only about the fact that you lose a husband, but some of the time you get this loneliness when your child leave and your child gone overseas. You lose someone to the grave, and you might get the feeling at different times in your life. But how did I actually get past this time of being lonely? Lord Jesus, may I tell you, say it was hard. I began to start to reframe my mind. So I started seeing alone time as time that could pour into doing something else. One of the things that I did, I began to spend time with God, believe it or not. I sing, I dance, I pray. I mean, my prayer life changed. No longer was I praying a particular type of way, but no, I just go to God and I say, God, right here, so right now, I summer feel. And I just lay it out. Some of the time I lie down on my belly, I lie down on my back, all kind of things. There were times when I couldn't sleep and I just lie down there and I just talk to daddy. I began to work on supporting others. So at one point, I had to change my mindset and stop thinking about what I was going through. But I started to think, how can I help somebody else? So while I was getting support, because remember, I told you that I actually get support and I get counseling. While I was getting support, I was here now pouring out into others. I was a part of groups that I could actually help. I helped with the planning of the program. I help with the sharing the programs. I help to start doing different things. I poured my time into my program. So some of you know about Transformation Thursdays with Coach Cola. So I spend my time pouring my time into Transformation Thursdays. That is in this time when I got separated, when my husband and I separated, it was also the time when I poured and I spent time writing my book. So I spent the time writing my book, and you will see it behind me now, Defying All Odds, a game plan in building resilience. Trust me, this book was birthed out of a time when I was alone and I felt lonely. Yes, it was birthed out at that time. It started before, but it was in this time that I poured my time and my energy into doing something. Then I begin to pour my time and energy in self-care. So one of the things persons know, and they would say, oh, you lose weight. You know, look as good as before, look fluffier, look nice as before. Yes, I had on a lot more weight. But it wasn't that I was losing weight because I not eat and I not sleep and nothing like that. It was because I was exercising and working out. And I find that when I work out, some of the things that are on my head and on my mind, some of the feeling of anger and bitterness and sadness, all of those things just went. Can I tell you? Exercise helped me. So not only exercise, the whole self-care, I steam my face, I wash my hair and I spend time in the shower and all of that. I poured, I start loving on myself. So remember I tell you that I felt unloved. No more will I be feeling unloved because now I start to pour love onto myself. I start loving myself. I start just dash out everything on myself. Yes, I start to learn new things. So it was in this time that I learned how to make some hair products. So I make some hair products on my hair. Yes, and my hair grow. Yes, I make some hair products. I have my own body lotion that I went to Earth Elements, I tell you. And I buy all the stuff and I mix up, and I make my own body lotion. Yes. So it was in this time I have candles that I make at home. Yes. Because I started to do new things. It's as if I just start to refrain my mind and I just start to set my mind on new things. Here I talk about mind, I started to cultivate a positive mindset. Now, let I tell you something. Some of the things that were happening to me happened in my mind. You hear I tell you about feeling of shame and guilt? Yes. Some of the things were things that I began to tell myself that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't loved, that I am a failure, and all of those things. So I had to cultivate a positive mindset where I had to start telling myself, so, girl, your marriage failed, but you are not a failure. You are loved. Not because you got divorced, it doesn't mean that no one else will love you. Come on, girl. I had to speak to myself. I had to drop myself and say, no, girl, don't do it. Don't do it. You understand? So I had to change my whole mindset. I just had to start pour into me. Yes. So loneliness, there are times when I still get lonely, even to this day, when I feel lonely and I feel like, and I said, okay, now I start to remember when I get here and when this starts happening to me, what do I do? So I find that I'm always working. I'm always working on something new. Always working on something new. Yeah, yeah. So now you find that I'm doing a new program, Transformation Journeys. Yes. But what I'm saying to you, you have to own your emotions. So you have to know that you're feeling lonely. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just change how I do things. So as I said to you, I began to pray and I spent time with God. You know, one of the things that I asked God for in that time when I was lonely, I asked God for friends because I realized that being married, I poured all of my time into my marriage. And it was about my husband. And to a certain extent, I didn't have any friends. I have people that I work with, and people would always think that I'm full of friends. Nicola have a lot of friends. But having somebody who you can always talk to, who you can reach out to, go out with. When I'm thinking about going out, I'm thinking about going out with my husband, going out with my church, sometimes going out with my daughter. But no, Middle Road. Now I will go out and I will enjoy myself with friends. God gave me friends. Can I tell you? I have friends. I can pull on persons right now that I can say, I feel like going there. So I want to go out. Come up, we go. Come up with the road. Hmm. Yes, and stuff like that. So I started spending time with God. God gave me friends. I started supporting people as people supported me. I poured myself into doing things that would impact others. I started to use the things that I went through. Can I tell you, even on the program that I have, it was certain experiences and certain lessons. I pulled topics from what I went through that I could help others. I started to learn new things. I tell you about, I do my lotion, I do my hair products. I spend time, on myself, pouring into myself. I started exercising. I cultivated a new positive mindset. I was a part of groups and I gave time and energy. I tell you about self-care already. And I started spending alone time with myself to learn about myself. So now I'm more self-aware. I wasn't so self-aware earlier in my life, but now I can tell you how I'm feeling. I can tell you the things that are happening to me that never used to happen. So loneliness don't have to take you over. Yeah, I can talk now because I've been through it. Loneliness don't have to take you over. There was a time when I was in a crowded place and I feel lonely. But loneliness don't have to take you over. I gave you some of the strategies that I use that would help me, that helped me on my journey. And that's why I am here right now, bouncing back. Or sorry, I didn't bounce back. I bounced forward from my divorce. So loneliness don't have to take you over. So I just want to encourage you, use some of the strategies that I use to bounce forward from loneliness.